Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time doing another Christmas review, and this one is on The Santa Claus 2. Now, The Santa Claus 2 is a 2002 Christmas comedy film that was meant to be the second installment in the Santa Claus film series, as well as taking place 8 years after the events of the first film. We see how Scott Calvin has now become Santa Claus and has kind of made his home at the North Pole. We kind of see how Bernard and another elf known as Curtis find out that he needs to remarry and find a Mrs. Claus, so that way the sort of Santa Claus title can still keep going. I would say, for the most part, I would say Bernard and Curtis do work as characters. Like, yeah, Bernard is still meant to be a bit more edgy, a bit more trying to be more of the voice of reason, and you can kind of tell the only reason he's hard on Curtis is that he doesn't want to see him make any more screw-ups. And you can kind of tell Curtis is a bit of a screw-up, but does kind of realise his mistakes. And we kind of see how Scott even realises, to his shock and horror, that his son's been on the naughty list and has been vandalising the school to get attention. So of course we kind of see how Scott has to kind of head back to see his son, as well as sort things out at school. And I would say, for the most part, when you kind of got Scott with the principal, it sort of works, as you can kind of tell they're both two of a kind. Like, both of them start off as a bit trying to be the voices of reason, and at the same time kind of find common ground with each other. I also feel, yeah, when you kind of got the villain in the film being a toy Santa, similar to Scott Calvin, I think he's meant to be more like a dark counterpart of Scott. Well, Scott is supposed to kind of realise his mistakes and starts to kind of do the right things. The toy robotic Santa is meant to sort of feel everyone is naughty, despite that people and kids misbehave sometimes and they don't really mean it to their full intent. And I would say, for the most part, I would say the film sort of works. Like, when you have the de-Santification process, it's kind of implied it takes a bit more longer during the 8 years. And when it does happen, we see how he slowly turns back into Scott Calvin. I would also say, when you kind of got Charlie now older, it's him kind of now feeling like a bit of, like, he wants his father to come back to him. He does these things to get attention, which is pretty relatable if you ever been at college or boarding school. And I would say, for the most part, I would say, is that even though it's a sequel that didn't really need to be made, it still tries to keep the heart and that of the first film. And I think when you kind of got Neil and Scott's ex-wife's daughter, who is meant to be Lucy, I feel like she's just thrown in to be the character in the sidelines. Like, yeah, they don't really tell her near the end about Scott being Santa, and I kind of feel like it'd probably be a bit easier, but I guess they just didn't want to tell her until she was a bit more older. And I think, for the most part, having them kind of be Scott be the uncle to Lucy does work. And it's kind of Neil and that kind of now welcome him in with more open arms after the first film. So I think, for the most part, the Santa Claus 2 is a hit and miss, but it's still enjoyable. It's keeping true to the first film, but trying to go with a bigger twist. So I think it deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.